Hello ladies, Jamie Novak here, your professional organizer, and I am just back from our event this evening. What a fun night, right? I feel like, gosh, it was such a pleasure getting to meet you all, and I mean, you just made my night. You were a fantastic audience, and I loved all of your tips as well. I'll certainly be incorporating those in future programs that I give, so trust that your ideas will live on, and I want to thank you for that. I also wanted to share just a few other ideas with you that we didn't have time to get to tonight, but I thought you might really appreciate. The first is, I know many of you were wondering, why in the world does Jamie have cling wrap on her table, and what could the possible tip be about this cling wrap? And I'm going to share it with you now. Keep it in the freezer. When you store your cling wrap or clear wrap in the freezer, when it's chilly, when you just take it out to use it, it's too cold to stick back on itself. Cold cling wrap can't double back. And I tell you, that's hours of time saved right there, right? Trying to peel apart the cling wrap. So I hope that you'll use that tip and think of me every time that you do. For the first few days, I'd suggest leaving yourself a note so you remember where the cling wrap is. And if you forget, call me and I'll tell you, because it's in your freezer. Probably the last place you'd think to look until you get used to the new storage spot. Another tip I wanted to share with you were for the organizing your cords and labeling them. You know, the lamp cord versus the computer cord versus the television cord. Use the little plastic tabs that come on bread bags and rolls and things. Those little plastic tabs that you wouldn't think would be useful for much, but I know some of you were saving them just in case. It's a great way to just write what it is and then label that cord, so you're not behind the desk jiggling the cord wondering, is that the one I should unplug, and then possibly unplugging the wrong one. So I love labeling the cords using bread tags, and they're free, which is even better. Two more simple ideas I wanted to share with you, and then I'll let you get on with your day, but I so appreciate you joining me for these last few minutes, and that is silica packets. You know, the little packets with the gel in them, and they come usually with shoes, bedding, electronics, and you think, I don't know what to do with these. They say throw away, and that's because they're dangerous if they're eaten, but you don't need to throw them away. They're actually wonderful for packing when you're storing away luggage, out-of-season clothing, photographs, paperwork, books, treasures. The reason is they absorb odor and they absorb moisture. So these little packets, that Gelicacil in there, it's really going to be a wonderful way to keep a lot of your stored items protected. And these would cost you money if you had to go out and buy silica packets. Lucky for you, they come free in a lot of the things that you buy. And even better than that, so many times these items, well, you can ask when you're in a store, maybe a shoe store, many times the employees will have a whole bunch of these in the back. They're just going to throw them away. They'd be more than happy to pass them along to you. And the very last tip, because I know so many of you shared with me that feeling of, feeling sentimental. And, the candlesticks that were on great-grandma's dining room table were then, on your family dining room table, and you hope that you're storing them and you'll pass them along to maybe your children or other family members. All of these treasures that we've sort of accumulated through the years, and you might ask, children or grandchildren, oh, don't you want this? And in the moment, even though it probably holds great special meaning for you, it might not be their style or holds a great meaning for them right now. And so part of the reason that we really, really hold tight to that desire to pass those items through generations is the feeling of connection, that we feel like, we know that when we're no longer, physically here, that our candlesticks then will be on their table, and that connection will still be there, and the stories will still be told about, our lives. The trick with this is that, family members may say right now that they're not all that important to them. They don't care about the candlesticks, the crystal, the lidded candy dish, things like that. But what we tend to find is that when the person that those treasures and mementos belong to is actually no longer with us, those items take on a whole nother meaning. And so it can be a big challenge to decide, well, they say they don't want them, but I really hope they do, and later on down the road maybe they will. And so this is, again, going back to that bag collection that we talked about, and how much of a certain thing can you hold on to. And you can designate, a specific number of boxes or shelves or things to say, these are the items that I'm selecting to pass on to future generations, and hopefully they'll love and use them. And I would select things that are pretty generic in nature. You know, some odd pasta maker that, you know, was difficult to clean and you didn't really love all that much, not so much, unless making pasta was a family thing. So you kind of choose those items that, you know, are maybe more generic in nature, that, you know, who couldn't really use another platter or pitcher, that kind of a thing. And so those are the items we'd look to hold on to. And then you can store them away with your Delicasil packets, and you're all ready to go. So I am just really thrilled to pass on these last few tips for you. And of course, there's more at jamienovak.com, so don't forget to head over and log on there. That's JAMIENOVAK.com. And there's also a forum on Facebook where we can continue the conversation. So don't feel like our time together ends right now. I'm always on answering questions, and we've got a great community where we share stories and cheer each other on, and heartbreak when we come across things that we forgot about, and you know, it runs the gamut. So I hope you'll join me there. And until the next time we meet, which I hope is soon, this has been Jamie Novak, your organizer, and I'm wishing you a clutter-free day.